And starting in 3, 2, 1. And welcome to another episode of That Karate Podcast. I'm Liam Gallagher.
I'm Mark.
And I'm Sean.
It's only I get a second name. Nobody else has a second
You're
name
official.
this morning. It's trying to be official. And we're doing this in the morning, people. It's been a tough brief before this. The conversations we've had before we went live here, we couldn't possibly air. I just want to know that I'm slightly traumatised by some of the chats we've had this morning.
Slightly traumatised. Liam came very late because his watch had the wrong time. So me and Mark had...
It still has. Look, I don't know why. Everybody else got a Fitbit, right? So mine is saying 8:56 for no reason at all, and it's not 8:56, people.
But it's been like an hour and it's only went forward 45 minutes.
I don't understand.
That's what happens when you buy cheap, buy twice.
Well, what can I say?
I'm Scottish. That's what we do.
Anyway, I hope everyone is well. Thank you for everybody for listening to our last episode. This one we've got a few topics. First one's kind of light-hearted. We're going to talk about equipment. Okay, what equipment do you use in the dojo? What equipment have you used? What equipment could you not use? And
Translation: not live without. Okay, I'll just translate that for you, people.
Thank you very much.
Quick picture up. Could you not live
Subtitles are
without?
on the bottom. And what equipment have you maybe used in class and just never worked? We'll come on
It's
to you,
definitely
Mark.
early in the morning, isn't it?
This is why the conversation earlier was rough.
So, Mark, what equipment have you used? Obviously, in a karate class, you don't really need equipment. You need a space, and some students would be handy. But what equipment have you used, and you think is a good aid to the class to kind of improve the teaching or the training?
Good question. I mean, it depends which group that I'm teaching with. If I'm with my beginners, I'm using just like the bags, freestanding bags. I like to use the cones as well. Do a couple of little drills with them. So, for example, at the end of the class, like as a reaction test, I like to put the cones down the floor, get two of them in a Cesar position, and then obviously I would say go, and they try and snatch it and pop it on the head, and the slowest one. But for more moving up in the grades, more to my intermediate advanced group, I like to use resistant bands. They've sort of progressed a lot. I've actually bought some really good ones from Lidl about 2 months ago. Bargain, absolute bargain.
Are they good?
Yeah, metre and a half. I think I paid £5 for them. I literally bought the whole shelf. I think I spent like £200.
Oh, nice.
But yeah,
I must have been wondering what the hell you were doing.
Yes.
What the hell's this guy doing?
I was literally like, woof, in the trolley. Give me another trolley.
I phoned the police to follow you home.
But yeah, I used the resistant bands. I love that. Years ago, I don't know if you boys used the same. It was just my sensei was just a bit different. We used to use bicycle inner tubes.
Yeah.
But they used to stain your geese.
I know, but they're filthy, yeah. They used to make a hell of a mess.
I used to use bungee rope in the house. Bungee rope. Like, you know how you can get it for B&Q and you just roll it over and cut it. Same idea, like kind of stringy. What your selling was for? Yeah.
But cutting on top of that, I'm actually if you want a cheaper version, which is really good to use, especially for the little ones. A few of my bands are, if you go on eBay, you know the Black Widow catapults?
Yes.
Yeah.
The misspent youth, yes.
Yes. So you can actually buy super, super long lengths that are actually in a reel. So I bought that. I think I paid about 25 quid for it, but I literally got about 10 bands out of that. And that stuff is literally unbreakable. And it's great for the little ones. Great for the little ones.
Want to try some? I ordered some bands a couple of years ago and they must have got lost in lockdown. So
Yeah,
I don't
me too.
They're having a dig at someone they've tried to order resistance bands from and they're still waiting.
Yes, they're coming from a long way, so we'll...
Apparently the moon.
What about you, Liam?
What about yourself?
I think I think the kind of like what you said at the start. The beauty of karate is you don't actually need much kit. All you need is a space.
Yeah.
You know, when people start training, you need a karate uniform, a sensei, and a space to kind of get to work. So, but yeah, we use resistance bands as well. In training, we do quite a bit. We do a lot of work there with resistance bands. And
Is that a fruit shoot?
Matt's on a fruit shoot.
My cupboard's a bear. We haven't been shopping yet, so.
He's stealing the kids' fruit
I
shoot.
suppose it's better than a Stella.
Sorry.
With the kids, if I didn't have a dodgeball, there'd be a riot. It's not really a training aid. I kind of bribe my kids. Right, you warm up, you stretch, your kihon, your kata, and then I'll throw something at you for the last 10 minutes of the class.
That's not really for the kids, though. That's for you.
That is a stress relief. Stress relief. The heavier the ball depends on their attitude during the training. I got a double headshot the other day. Like the parents were cheering.
Headshot.
I did double headshot. The parents were cheering. There was people up. It was honestly, it was like
I can't remember the last time
I go to the World Cup. Everyone was going mental. But yeah, so we use resistance bands. I've got Makawaras down there. My seniors use those. We're up in my kind of loft at the dojo. We use the Makawaras for a while. They were just there for show, but we actually use them now. And yeah, I've got a kind of box down there full of kit. Hitting stuff like shields and pads are so important. I think a lot of people going up and down the halls all the time make a beautiful technique, but no idea how to actually hit something.
What it feels like to hit
Actually make contact. So you can't really do that in class to class with other students because there'll just be you left. So that's why we use shields and pads. So I use a lot of that. I've got a lot of freestanding punch bags and stuff. So we've got a lot of kit, but the bulk of it's still kind of kihon and kata related. But yeah.
I think you are looking from your social media page, but for both of you guys use quite a lot of I don't know if I see head guards, but I know you have obviously your mitts and you wear the leg protectors and the feet protectors. You use a lot of that, don't you?
Well, it's rules.
For competition, yeah.
For competition, it's required.
Yeah.
We all grew up the same way, didn't we? If you had these hand pads. I've got them up here somewhere.
Oh, yes.
The really thin ones. They're up here somewhere. They're only good for mopping up the blood. And I get that that's like the way it should be done, but when you've got so many kids training, you've got a duty of care to protect them. So
yeah,
they should be using the proper equipment to spar. Adults, if you want to go bare knuckle and beat each other to death, that's entirely up to you. I've got no problem. But with kids, and certainly through the WKF rule set, that's the rules. And there's nothing worse. I was kind of quoting. I was talking to my kids last night. I've got a few guys going to a competition for the first time on Sunday, which will be interesting. And they were like, try and get to train with their gum shields in.
Yeah.
Because the last thing you want to do is on the day is put a gum shield in, and you're like,
it's disgusting.
Yeah, just. I was giving them the full brief on the make sure you keep it in the box, make sure you put your name in the box, because you don't want to pick up somebody else's gum shield and go be like, I didn't have cornflakes this morning. So it's the same. We always train with the equipment, because if you're going to compete in the equipment, you need to be able to operate in it and use it. So,
do you guys use? I mean, I think I was asking you the other day, Liam. I know you've got a little special device that you have that you sit in. Yeah, I'm going to quickly correct myself before people get the wrong idea. You got a little buggy,
Mercedes?
a little buggy thing that you sit in, and you crank the wheel, and it stretches your legs.
Yeah. Oh, right, that?
Yes.
Yeah, the leg stretcher. Yes, I've got one of them, yes.
It's not fun.
I wondered where he was going with that. Then I was like, what does he know?
I've been on that machine. It's not fun.
Oh, really?
No.
You got to be, they're good bits of kit. They're good bits of kit. I mean, they're an expensive way to do the splits, but they do help. They do help. Yeah.
Student of mine, she's bought this.
Got to be careful though if you're older. As I've found with your adductor muscles, they get quite tight, especially up towards the higher up the leg, and they can get tears and stuff if you're not careful with your stretches.
I was just saying, one of my students, she bought this, and it's actually working as well. The other day, she just stitched down the splits. I was like, whoa. I think it's on Amazon. I think it's about £10. Basically, it's a thing that you screw to your top of your door, or you hang it on your door.
Oh yeah, I like that ballet dancers.
You stick your leg in it, and sort of just like.
You need to. I would use that, and you'd have to phone an ambulance.
They'd dangle it from
it. They'd look in my window. I'd be cause of death with a really hard one to write down. The hell was he doing? Or dangling upside down from a rope.
Just one leg out on the door.
One leg. No,
That'd be
no,
hilarious.
that's I'm too wee for that. But yeah, this must be very good. A lot of dancers use that for kind of. Yeah.
I tell you what, something that I literally stumbled across in my box. I have a little speaker, and I've been using the Karate Buddy app. That is a cool bit of kit.
Yeah.
You're gonna shout out to Matt Sensei there, yeah.
Shout out for you there, Matt Sensei.
There you go, shout out Matt Sensei. There you go.
Yeah. That's a great bit of kit. So it's the
Want to
Karate
sponsor
Buddy
the
app.
podcast? Give us a shout.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
He's gonna yak me next time he sees me. I'm like,
That's a great bit of kit. You can literally. It's good just to have someone else counting and controlling the class. You just pop it on the app, press
we have
play.
one job, dude. We have one job. If somebody else shouts each knee san shi, I'm redundant.
Yeah.
No, I use that quite a lot. I used it in a ninja class last night as well, actually, and because you can change it to do directions like up, down, left, and right, so it's good for a wee warm up. I like that. But have you guys seen? I don't know if you've got a set. I've been like when you speak about it and you go through your Facebook and then it keeps coming up as an advert. Blaze pods.
They're extortionate.
They're so expensive, but they just
What
look
is it?
So it's just like it's like a little round thing, and then it lights up. But you can program it to light up. Since Paul's got them in Dunfermline, and used them a few times for squad. But I think if the class is busier, you can't really do it. But it's basically just a unit, and it's got a light on top, and you need to tap it. So you can change it to be different colours. Like one could be red and one could be blue, and you can set them up, and the kids need to run around and tap them. But see, for like 4, it's like £250 for 4. But it comes with a program on on your phone, and you can set it up to do like warm ups, to do like shuttle runs or reaction work. And you, I've actually seen some, put them on the freestanding kick bags, and then you punch them or kick them. So yeah, I've been pricing them, but they're even second hand, they're still pretty expensive, So, but I keep looking at them. I keep going to my wife. I'm going to buy them. I'm going to buy them. I'm going to buy them.
No,
But then I go £250. I'm not going to buy
yeah,
them.
but they're only for 4 lights or something, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 4 lights and the charger unit and the use of the app.
£250.
Yeah, it's
I'll come and just flash my phone for £250.
Yeah.
as long as that's all you're.
I think
Couple of torches.
this is what I'm dealing with all morning. A couple of torches.
I think you've got it, Liam, at yours when I was up. I know a couple of other people. I've seen it on Facebook have them. So basically, you can put it on like a strike pad, strike shield. You can actually put it on your bob, sentry, or whatever your freestyle.
Oh yeah, it measures the.
And
that's a gadget. Yeah,
you
it's
whack
one of those
it,
things.
and you can see how hard you can hit it, and it tells you how to use speed and.
He broke one of the kick pads. It's a full kick shield, and the speed and power thing is integrated into it. So it's a little screen at the top, and you can set it to reaction, so it beeps and you need to react, or it's power, and it measures how hard you hit it. Kind of like one of the boxing machines you get. And it was a kick, wasn't it? He kicked it once, and then it didn't turn back on again. It was
smashed it.
And our instructor at the time was raging because I'm sure it wasn't cheap.
It was like 250, 300 quid bit of kit, and I broke it in a
just
lash.
a roundhouse kick and smashed it.
I wouldn't expect anything less than to Liam.
Shut up.
How's your cat coming along anyway?
Yeah, we'll record that cat.
Somebody's asking for Chinty. Can I just say, 1, thank you very much for your feedback. 2, why Chinty? It's the one. I'll be honest, I haven't
thought you was going to go like this. You were going to go.
The last time I actually trained Chinty, and I'm actually embarrassed to say this, is I was in Japan. 2019's the last time I actually went through Chinty. That's embarrassing.
The last time I ran through Chinty must have been about 10 years ago.
That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. But it's like to kind of mainstream ones.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're teaching all that.
I know what you mean.
So
we kind of as we do so much competition, you kind of try and stick.
Chinty's not
and then
really.
You've got your gradings, katas and stuff as well. So you don't tend to do. Although
I should do though. I should do.
Yeah,
it's not like I don't know it. It's just I need to. I actually go need ground.
So, what piece of equipment have you maybe used in class?
But thank you. I appreciate the feedback. Didn't just talk over the top of me. Thank you for feedback. I'll get it done. Give me a couple of weeks for Chinty. Give me a couple of weeks.
Look on YouTube now.
He's going to do it today.
No, I'm not going to do it today.
We're doing it today.
Right,
that's why
I'm filling that with the phone.
We can edit it out. It's fine. Yeah,
I'll do the wee shapes and I'll do the techniques. You just feed them together.
Pictures.
No, I don't want to do a bad one. I don't want to do a bad one.
It's never going to be a good one.
Sorry, Sean.
That's fine. I know who spoke over me again.
As I was,
Anywho, so what piece of equipment have you used in class and thought that just doesn't work, and thinking maybe the class is too busy to use it, or maybe it's the wrong level, or maybe it's just not a piece of equipment you can use in a karate class. Maybe we've seen it somewhere else and thought that looks good. We could use that.
I've got a few resistance bands related stories.
I've had the resistance band snap once. Yes.
Well, I've had them a couple of times. I had one the other night actually snapped. But the best one we had was when you get kids using them and they're dead excited to use them. And it was a couple of kids of mine, and they were kind of junior black belts, so they should have known better. And I'm saying, right, boys, the person who's the anchor, before you say that, children, the person who's the anchor needs to be paying attention. You can't just like start thinking about your dinner because that person's attached to you with a rubber band. And the young fella, due to his name was, started steering the wrong way. And Aaron, who was one of the kids that used to train with us, can't be fighter. He was pushing, he's always pushing really hard, he was always trying to be the best, and I was like, son, you need to be careful, the band's dropping down, you need to make sure it's above your belt line.
Oh, I think I was there.
You there that day? And it's like, and I turned around, I turned to somebody else, and I just looked back in time as the band dropped below his shins and flipped him. This is not a wind up, this happened. And then the other one shot back and caught the other boy right in the arse.
Oh.
So he was on the deck going crying. He was lying down. I'm going, I think he's dead.
That's funny.
He's just kind of lying like this. And the other boy's lying going whimpering in a corner. And I'm like, right.
Hello.
Do not laugh. So I'll get delivered. 2 seconds, guys.
That's the police, isn't it? I'll tell you a good bit of equipment while Liam shot up there, actually, to pick up his kebab. One of the, I don't know if you use it, tag rugby. Have you seen that? Tag rugby. Tag rugby. So basically, search it. There's a brilliant bit of kit. So basically, it's like a Velcro band that goes around your waist, and then you have 2 tags that you can stick. Or as well. So I use that like as a kumite type thing, as for my beginners. So first of all, what we do is we do it where they're with their partner. 2 tags, very similar to like you're doing your kumite. Pull 1 tag off, throw it on the floor, and then that's how you get a clear winner once you've got 2. And then of course you do it all against all, which is literally a riot. Yeah. So that can be fun.
Yeah, I've bought a few. You can get them off Blitz. I've bought a few of them off Blitz until the Velcro bit stops working.
If you want to sponsor us, Blitz.
It is.
Although in fairness, the roasting you gave their karate suits last year, I think it's unlikely.
I never gave them a roasting. No, that's not true. You misconstrued my words.
It's on the podcast, dude. It's not misconstrued.
That's very. Anyway, so guys, drop us a little comment in the post wherever you're watching or listening. Let us know what piece of equipment you like to do to kind of aid your training.
Sorry, karate. For karate.
Training for karate. Or if you're a teacher, kind of what equipment have you used that kind of adds to the experience of teaching or training? But Mark's got something here, Mark.
Remember them dice, Liam, that you had?
Yeah.
They're good. They're wicked.
Did anybody use the kind of, what do you call it, the kind of wheel on the iPad?
Oh. Yeah, well, during online we've done a lot of
that. I still use it in class, so you
really?
kind of get it. Probably it's not your fault.
Yeah, I do.
It's not me, it was the app that made you do 50 push-ups. So you disassociate from it, so I use that kind of things like that. I do daft things like, again, using equipment, I use my phone, or I play music sometimes.
Yeah.
In a traditional class, that'd be like, how dare you?
That's why you're always online.
I have them doing burpees to Thunderstruck and stuff. I do things like that.
I've ruined many songs for people.
Yeah, me too.
Many.
Roxanne's one as well.
Ghostbusters. Bring Sally or Bring Sally Down. I've also ruined Baby Shark for somebody. Done a core exercise.
No, I don't think that needed ruined. I think that's ruined.
We done a core exercise to Baby Shark and then bring that to your class one day and you were absolutely buckled.
Oh, that was funny. I had a core exercise, Baby Shark. All my guys were dying.
That was quite funny. But you could do lots of stuff. And I think as well, obviously sometimes that you can't beat just a traditional class, basics up and down the floor. I think that's important. But I also think nowadays as well, especially as the age of the students gets a little bit younger. You need to kind of think about things to make the class a little bit different for them. You know.
See, that would be the argument. Maybe it's more the old school traditional guys saying the kids are then too young for karate. If you have to do that too.
No, I'm not saying that you have to do that. I'm just saying sometimes adding a little bit into the class can maybe keep them engaged or add an experience. So the reaction, the Karate Buddy app reaction is quite good, especially kind of left, right, up and down. You can do colours and numbers and that as well. So you can do. I've done whatever number they shout. You need to do that many burpees. It's quite funny actually. But yeah, I think stuff like that really adds to the class and just changes it up a little bit. Still can't beat, as I said, basics or kata or traditional kind of class going up and down. But sometimes you do need to change it up.
I think you need to bring certainly a bit of karate needs to develop.
Yeah.
If you look at the old school dojos from Okinawa, they use equipment, they use kit, they use all sorts of different things to kind of build strength, etc. So I think maybe we're bringing a bit of sports science sometimes into it as well. And I think, I think you kind of need to add to it. If you have competitors, you certainly need to, especially because their opponents are training like that as well. You need to bring things in, but as you say, we need to make it fun as well for us too.
Yeah,
for us too. I mean, I've had this conversation before. I think some people could be too square when it comes to it's not a religion.
I know what I mean.
You need to bring these things in to make it an enjoyable experience for everybody without breaking away from what you are, completely selling your soul.
I think as well, because sometimes you can kind of get in that routine where it's just the kind of same stuff over and as an instructor you get a bit
I've found
fed
that
up. You feel as if you're just being very repetitive and you're not actually offering much. So sometimes you need to kind of.
But the thing is, repetition is what builds the skills. I think
just try to find that balance. I think.
If you teach twice a week, 2 hours a week or 3 hours a week, they maybe won't hit that. But how many classes a week do you teach?
21 classes a week.
21. I'm probably about the same.
Sorry, 20 classes. I teach 2 classes of box size, so 20 classes a week.
That's a lot. So
7 of them are ninjas.
I mean, you're doing the same. Obviously, I'm the same. You do different days with different groups. So
6 days, 3 venues.
So I essentially repeat my class plan Mondays and Tuesdays in 2 different venues, and then Wednesdays and Thursdays in 2 different venues, and then Fridays specialist. So you do get a bit. Did I teach this? Have I done this already today? No, I did it last night. So yeah, it gets a bit repetitive. So bringing things in makes it more interesting for you and challenges you as an instructor as well.
Yeah. No?
Can you hear the car revving?
Yes. Oh, of course I'm here.
That's okay, good, because there's a car revving outside. So
No,
far we've had a delivery driver.
Could you hear
off.
me eating my chocolate pieces whilst you lot were talking?
We've seen you.
Seen more than I wanted to this morning, mate.
Last bit of kit that I actually use quite a lot is Obi. My Obi. The belt.
Obi, not Bobby.
I couldn't hear because the car.
Obi-Wan Kenobi. No, Obi. So literally, like, if you give an example, what we use it for. If you're practicing jumps, one of the students will hold a belt, swinging it through, getting that height.
Yeah.
One
Kicking.
or 2 holding the belt,
Yeah.
doing the Maegiri, making sure the knee. Sometimes they can fold it up, hold it, kick it. Again, you can do the drills where race who can tie the belt the quickest as a drill. There's another one which is quite can be quite fun. Is you're getting them in a stance, exploding off, and the other one's trying to catch your foot with the belt. Yes,
That sounds fun. I like that.
I use a pool noodle for that.
Pool
It's
noodle.
less likely to leave marks.
yeah. But yeah, there's loads of things that you can use. But we do use the Obi, and then like I said, because they're taking, especially the little ones, they're taking their belts off, and then they're having to put their belts on and tie it. So
Yeah.
It's good. I think sometimes there's maybe a glut of information on like say YouTube, because sometimes I look at YouTube, right? What is it? What are other people doing to develop their students? What are they doing to develop their athletes and stuff? So you go on, and there's just this load of drills, and you're like, when do you use that?
Yeah.
I mean, when do you find the time to put that into every class?
No.
So you try and kind of cherry pick it, don't you, using the kit? But no.
Nice. But as I said, guys, drop us a little message or comment and let us know what you kind of want it to be, resistance bands, or do you enjoy kicking and hitting pads?
Or have you got something we haven't even mentioned or thought of, so we can steal it and use it for our students?
yeah. That's what we normally do.
So coming up in the next few weeks, we've got some guests coming up. International flavour.
Flavour?
It's a flavour. We got it. Well,
And not just
white guys
Scotland.
for white guys for UK is hardly international flavour.
We've got Scotland and England.
Is that international? But geez, I'm not going into that debate. We're not go down that. But I had enough of that during the referendum. Right. Yes, we have a friend Cam from Hong Kong. We have Henry from who's living in Tokyo. All of you may know Henry. He trains at JKS Hongbu. And your friend from Harrow. Sam's going to be on with us in the next couple of weeks. So we're going to interview and chat to these guys, hearing their story, hearing their journey. And I'm really looking forward to all of them. They're a pretty interesting bunch with a kind of varied history. So I don't know if do you know Cam? Have you seen Cam on social media?
I have him on Facebook. Yeah, a few mutual friends, I think.
He keeps with Stephen Chan. We trained with Stephen Chan certainly at SOAS, and he was teaching karate on a Hong Kong rooftop.
That's it.
Wow.
How cool is that? How cool is that? So he'll be on. Different style as well, so it's not Shotokan for all you people that are fed up listening to Shotokan guys passing on. But yeah, so we're all looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to listening to Henry, our man in Japan, to give us a kind of breakdown what it's like to live over there and train at the dojo. As many of us maybe wanted to growing up, but fancied doing that. He's actually gone there and done it, so it'll be interesting to see what it's actually like, if it's as much fun as it sounds. And our man from Harrow, not want to know what Harrow's like. No disrespect, Phil. He's a good bloke. Listen, he's been trained for years and years and years, and he's been with JKS pretty much from the start up, hasn't he? Well, listen, interesting to hear his take on how things are and how it's progressed. So yeah, looking forward to that. Again, if anybody else wants to get involved or wants to nominate their instructor or somebody interested, come on. Could be something related to karate. Please get involved, because the interviews are the best bit of what we do, because nobody wants to listen to us talk constantly. Nope. So, what next today? What next? Another topic for us today?
So kind of had a wee idea about a topic, and it's something I've kind of seen on social media a lot, to be honest. About karate as a self defense, and I don't want to get too serious or too into it, but you see all the time. Obviously, you see people promoting karate, self defense, fitness, fun, confidence, and all the kind of. But at what point does karate become self defense? Is it something that you need to learn over the years, and it's through years and years of training? Obviously, we've all kind of trained for a long time, some longer than others. But at what point do you think karate is a self defense? Obviously, there's the argument about competition side versus traditional side, in terms of, is competition as close as you'll get to a self defense scenario? There is karate clubs out there that do self defense, like more application karate, and just in our general karate instructors, what's your kind of thought on it? Mark,
you go first. I'll be here all day.
Oh, thanks. So yeah, first of all, I agree. When you look on social media and that's anyone that's doing any martial arts, that's their selling point. It's confidence, self-defense, and everything like that. I mean, it's a bit tricky getting a 4-year-old to come in and expect them to learn self-defense. I think it's a sequence of events. Definitely, what I notice with my teaching and just with general karate, and myself included, I was bullied at school and everything like that. So for me, that's why I got into karate, for maybe the self-defense. That's what my parents probably looked at when they were looking at the advert for the karate club for me to get into. And what I mean is about events. So, first of all, you need to build your confidence up first before you start going with self-defense. You need to, build your confidence up first. I think 4 is far too young. You need to go up and train a few years, get yourself up to a intermediate, high intermediate level, advanced level before you can start thinking about self-defense. It's a bit of a funny one. I don't know. Yeah,
That's why I thought it was a good topic, because there's so
yeah,
many
it's good.
aspects of it, and I was just curious. I see it all the time, and
Well, karate gets absolutely slaughtered off of MMA and Muay Thai and kind of more full contact kind of fighting because they see what we do and it's rubbish. And let's be honest. I mean, I say the same thing to my guys. If the certainly WKF community, and it's not to say if you take that rule set and take it outdoors, you're going to get done it. I mean, it's if you're
the point scoring. You mean?
a point scoring. But that doesn't mean that person only has one skill set. This has been an argument I've had, and one of the reasons I fucking left an association previously was that I found it really difficult to come to terms with the fact that you can't do more than one thing or be good at more than one thing.
Yeah.
I found it really difficult to kind of right. So if I do this, I could only do this. I could only be good at that. So I'm quite good at applied karate. I enjoy it. I'll give you a demonstration in a minute if you like. No.
Yes, please.
No,
I've
you
still,
sure?
I've still got bruises
If you
in my
don't-
arm and bruises
You
all
don't
over.
believe me?
No.
And I teach my black belts. With my black belts, I'll do. We'll work on that. But self defense is more complex than just can you punch hard and can you kick hard. It's not. That's not what it is. That's not self defense. There's a lot of kind of psychology behind it. The self defense is not going down the dark alley when you get a bad feeling. Self defense is that pub feels a bit dodgy that night. Getting out of there. That's also self defense.
Yeah, but awareness.
Yeah, so that's those skills that you can only learn at a Muay Thai or an MMA or a karate club. No, it's common sense.
Do you? Sorry.
No, okay.
Do you think that the competition is a good test of that, a good chance to test your abilities in a safe environment against someone else?
Yes.
Do
Yeah,
you think
yeah.
that's as close as you'll get to replicating a more kind of faster speed than you would in
I
fast
think
training?
that people who want to fight actually want to fight don't come to karate. They'll go to they'll go to boxing, they'll go to Muay Thai, they'll go to jiu-jitsu,
Kickboxing and
MMA,
stuff,
they'll go to that because it's a different personality type that comes to karate. I mean, I see guys that have come to karate and moved on to full-time stuff, full contact stuff, and you're like, yeah, because it's not for you, and that's fine. What we are is more than a fighting art. It's a whole. We join a traditional club, it's a whole ethos behind it. What I don't like is people who try to put a round peg in a square hole. People they're trying to make applications out of what don't exist and try and I have real issues with that. People just make stuff up or kind of try and take karate and make it into something it's not.
Do you guys? Sorry, Mark, on you go, mate. You like you want to say something?
No.
No?
No, that's just his normal
Do you?
face.
Is
This
that
is my
your-
normal face.
Yeah, think
Yeah.
face. Do you? I see a lot as well. I stay in Glasgow, and so my Facebook's inundated with kind of sponsored adverts all the time about these kind of 4 week, 6 week self defense. Learn how to defend yourself in 6 week courses. And I know it's a touchy subject, but do you think in 6 weeks? This is what I was going to. This is why I thought the topic because it is so complex and there is so many parts. And please, guys that are listening at home or watching at home, get involved in it. Or send us a message if you don't want to if you want to be anonymous. But that's why I think karate is about kind of longevity and over the years. That's when you start to pick up these skills. But in 6 weeks, are you teaching someone these skills? Is the 6 week course about an understanding, like you said, teaching them about not going into a pub or not walking that or crossing the road when you see, or is the 6 weeks? In 6 weeks, you can learn how to defend yourself.
But that's right. So
Great subject.
Oh, right. Okay. So I do a 2 hour self defense course.
So you're one of them.
Right. Now listen.
Yeah. How much?
It's made up of two. It's made up of 2 hours. The first hour, right at the start, we say to them, listen, this is not. You're not getting turned into a ninja in 2 hours, right? You need to understand what this course is actually about. And the most interesting part of the course for everybody is not the practical bit we do the second hour outside. The first hour is a practical bit where we actually sit and listen to it. And it's often women and it's girls that are going off to uni and stuff that come and do this course with me. And I do them for free. And the stories I hear are horrific.
women have had to deal with, or women have to deal with, just dealing with as idiots, going out for drinks and all the rest of the pals, and the precautions they take for safety. Yeah, but they've also got people that have no experience in it. I've not had to. There's usually one or two ladies that have had to. They're there and have had a bad experience of some description, and some are quite harrowing. And the discussion and the open discussion about what self-defense actually is, as I say,
Yeah.
if you're talking only from a practical standpoint, punching and kicking, karate's a slow burn. I think we kind of touched on this last week,
Yeah, I
didn't
think,
we?
yeah.
So it's a slow burn to build those skills from the practical.
Yeah.
But we also, as martial artists, and a lot of people do not teach the common sense stuff.
Yeah.
You know, because it's not part of our syllabus. It's not part of your green syllabus, the black belt. You don't get a black belt in self-defense. You get a black belt in karate. So it's a big part that we miss, which is why I brought it in, because I felt a bit,
Yeah.
how can you say you're teaching self-defense? Yeah, I'm teaching you punch and kick. That's the practical bit. That's when everything else has failed.
Yeah.
That's when you're in a situation where you have no bloody choice but to start throwing shots.
Yeah, and hopefully you don't get to that
But
stage.
and so the first hour we discuss like victim state. You know, we could call it a great book. And I say this to them there. If anybody reads it, anybody out there, Jeff Thompson's Dead or Alive. If you've already read it out there,
I've not read it.
everybody knows who Jeff Thompson is.
I've heard of Jeff Thompson.
Dead or Alive. It's quite a terrifying book. I read it. I read it not long after I became a dad to a daughter, and I was like, oh my God. So Jesus Christ. You know, I was trying to explain to these people that when you're being mugged, these guys are professional muggers. They don't do it. They didn't just decide to get up that day. They have a plan. How they're going to get money off you. They've got a plan. And God forbid these people are going to rape and murder you. Have a plan. They didn't just wake up that day and have a plan. So you need and just decide that's Tuesday. So there's it's actually terrifying, and you have to, when you're sitting in a room discussing that. I can't teach that to 4-year-olds.
No.
Even a general class, you can't teach that to a class. It needs to be a specialised programme, and you sit and have an honest and frank back and forth chat about just not being in that situation in the first place. The silly things like not walking about on your phone when you're out at night, checking your phone. Just a stupid thing. That's what's called code white, where you're not engaged what's going on around you. You're not paying attention, and they look for that.
Yeah.
They don't actually have a graph of who they're looking for, but they know these guys are predators. They and I use the term guys because unfortunately it's usually us that are doing that, and that's not. Where's that in our syllabus?
Yeah.
Punching and kicking, right? We can hit pads and we can, and you see some videos of people doing practical self-defense, and you look at it and you're like, Jesus, that's going to get you in more trouble than.
Yeah. I do see some videos of good practical stuff. There is clubs out there that
Oh,
do
without a
specialise
doubt, people that deal in the kind of and they put you under stress testing. The great thing about competition is it stress tests you.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of touching on.
Touching on.
Hands up.
Hands up. But it gets you stress testing, which you know on the mats. So it'd be cat or community going on those mats is tough. It's tough emotionally. It's tough. Tough watching me do cat.
Yes, very.
We'll find out. We'll find out.
Yeah, it is.
Do you get that question? I've had it so many times, and I hate bullies. That's the first, and I think we all agree. We all hate bullies, but
no, but you two bully me constantly. How do you?
That's from love.
Yes, yeah.
That sounds worse.
We're keeping you on your toes. But yeah, I get all the time. I'll either get a message from my parents or a parent will come and see me, and they'll say to me that or maybe a new starter that will come in, and they'll say that my son or daughter is getting bullied at school. Could you take him to the side and teach him a few techniques and just get him so that if he's at school we can do this? And you're like, no, no. It doesn't work like that. And as you said, Liam, it's a slow. But I mean, what am I going to do? Yeah. So a bully grabs you, you twist their elbow, and then you elbow them in the face. You're like, no, it doesn't work like that. It's not like that. And as I was saying when I was saying, it's about that confidence side first. It's about teaching awareness, is what you were saying there, Liam. It's about awareness. It's about preempting before you get to the stage where you actually have to hit someone. You know, going into a pub and going, oh, or going into somewhere in an environment where, hang on, well, it doesn't feel right here. You know, I need to get out of here. But yeah, it's mad what some parents do expect you to. I mean, do you get that
Absolutely.
Yeah. No,
all the time
I
from
have
parents?
had that, and it's hard because you want a quick fix. You want it, you want that problem just to go away. You want to say, okay, here as it is, but it's not that. And you kind of touched on it earlier, Mark. I think confidence is a big part of it. Having a bit more kind of confidence in your abilities when it gets to that stage. You have been training for a while, or confidence in the kind of situation, But yeah, we would all love to have that quick fix as instructors, but that's why I thought it was such a great topic, because there is so many parts of it, and you see it all the time.
What is self-defense? We talk from a kid, so we deal as karate instructors. We often deal with a large proportion of kind of children under the age of 16. That's what we see now. When I grew up, it was different. So, but we used to come in for a scrap. We used to come into karate to scrap, and not get arrested for it when I was a kid. But it's what, as you say, most of the kids I have that are in that situation, and you'll say to them, and again, I do a kind of bully defence course as well, again, similar to the self defence. I know people are going, "No, that's not traditional karate." Well, it is actually the way it's
Yeah,
done. But
yeah.
and the biggest issue I hear from the kids, I see the kids that are getting bullied, they don't want to strike back anyway because they're the ones because they'll get into trouble.
Yeah, though
So I try to rationalise, well, the person who's trying to hit you and bully you doesn't care if they get into trouble. Yeah, but I don't want to get into trouble. I'll get into trouble and I'll get shouted at, and you're like, wow. Yeah, and and it seems to be an acceptance in schools now. The people aren't bullies anymore. Kids aren't bullies. They have behavioural issues. Well, your behavioural issue is making my kid miserable. Your inability to manage and control your child is affecting everybody else in the class. Again, some of the stories I got in the bully defence course with the kids because I asked them to tell me their stories. It's easy for me to stand there in front of a board or in front of a telly and go, "This is what you must do." Well, what's your experience? And some of the experiences are not what you think. There's kids in classes that are throwing chairs about the room and hitting teachers, and now the kids. I'm like to the kid, like, "So are you being physically bullied?" They're like, "No," but they're terrified.
Yeah, because they think they're next.
They're terrified because they're in a room where there's violence, and they're not used to violence. The kid that's doing that is often, unfortunately, used to violence, whatever in a domestic situation. And yes, that in itself is tragic, but then they're visiting that violence on a classroom full of young children, and a teacher who has no powers to deal with it because they've been totally hogtied. I sound like right wing loony here, don't I? But they've been totally hogtied that they can't actually deal with these situations. So they then come to me to look for a magic fix, which I don't have.
Yeah.
I don't have. So how do we? I do a drill with the kids. Maybe this is. I don't know if you want to do this in your clubs. Nick, one of my wee things. I get the kids. I tell you, it was terrifying. As I had two kids, so I took the big kid, the biggest kid, and I take the smallest kid. And I said to the other kids, right, what happens? So this person's going to fight this person. This is a bully. This is the person that's on the receiving end. I said, what happens next? Now, in a room full of really nice kids, lovely kids, nice homes, I know a lot of families. There are other kids I didn't know from the club as well, came in from outside. They automatically made a circle round them and started screaming, fight, 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 fight. And I was like, whoa. I said, right now, you're bullying too. You're part of the problem. That kid doesn't think he's fighting one person. He now thinks he's fighting 30 people.
So do you think it's a bit about understanding then? Like, knowledge more than...
Some of the kids are shocked because when you tell those kids who are good kids who have been the receiving end of bullying, they are horrified to realise that they're part of the problem. So I also do a thing, right? So you stand there and I put the bully and then I put everybody behind the bully because people go to power, don't they? So people will go behind the one that they think is going to win the fight. They're going to back the winner. So they stand behind that winner. And the kid that's the victim, again, doesn't see that one. The other kids might not throw a punch or throw a kick, but they're victimised and are made to feel that they're outnumbered 30-1.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, well, so how do you fix that? How do you sort that? Right, so you step over. And then I basically get them all to walk to the other side where the kid, the victim is. And I turn around to the bully and I go, how do you feel? And he goes, like, I don't want it. There's all against me now. I'm like, well, that's
Yeah.
Am I making sense? So it's that's part of the self-defense training that you can't just do. Izuki up and down the hall.
Yeah.
You can't. There's a whole psychology behind it, and drills you need to run are separate too, which is why I run separate classes for it.
See, we're
I like it.
flipping it on its head a little bit as well. I think because we're looking at the sort of, I wouldn't say negative side of it all, but there is also some really positive sides from self-defense. Because, I mean, you do hear it, every now and then you'll see, karate champion, was under attack or something like that and literally annihilated that attacker.
But that's people who can already fight. Right, so you and I
Exactly.
know,
As
right,
I said,
right. So I'm not
right.
being. I can fight. Right, I can fight. You can fight. You can fight. We are fight. First and foremost, we're fighters. We can fight anyway. I didn't need go to karate to be nuts. All right, I grew up in a scheme in Glasgow. Right, so fighting is what we did on a Tuesday. So that wasn't. Do you know what I mean? So you grew up looting, for God's sake. Right? You don't have a knife and looting to give you one. So
that was a good thing.
So I grew up in an environment in Glasgow in the 80s, which was, Google it, people, it was great fun.
80s, you mean the 70s? Let's be honest here.
That's bullying. Stop it.
Thank you. Thank you.
No,
I'm taking myself out of this circle.
So yeah, but so that you grew up in that kind of situation. It was sink or swim. It was much more feral than it is now. It's a much more. We were talking about Neds and Chavs last week. These days, the Neds and Chavs in most of the areas I grew up in are quite tame compared to what I grew up dealing with. I know certain areas in London that's not the case. But that's people who can fight. There's people who are aggressive and can fight. The problem is you're taking people who are not got that aggressive nature, don't have that that kind of personality type, and you can't, and then trying to make them be like that. Well, you can't. So you've got to give them separate skills. Yes, they'll be good kickers and punchers. You'll have kids in your club come through your clubs are technically very good. Technically, their technique's beautiful. They've got no bottle for fighting. Yeah. Or their kata has no fire to it, has no edge to it. Technically, it's shaped, but there's no venom to it. There's no, and that's down to personality type. I don't think personally you can teach that.
No, we had a conversation about that last week. To be fair,
so how do you take people who have not got that skill, that fighting spirit, and is that a bit cheesy? That kind of fighting edge to their personality. How do you give them that? Does karate give them that?
Yeah, it does.
Do you go full Cobra Kai? Is this?
I was about to say, yeah, I think it does though. I think I'm just using my example of my dojo. I mean, not everyone that comes in through my door will always end up with that, but I suppose, yeah, over a period of time, it does. And I think we touched on earlier with the competitions and stuff like that. When the kids are going to the competitions and winning stuff, and I know it's in a controlled environment. I know in a normal street fight or any altercation that you have outside that door, you're not going to have a judge going, "Yummy, right, come here, medic." Yeah, you're not going to have any of that.
That bloody hurts though, eh?
Oh yeah, but I think through competition environments and gradings and stuff like that, and just the general pressure testing, as you were saying, pressure testing, you do gain that. You do gain that. But then
I do. Here's the thing, right?
I was going to talk.
I blame a lot of parenting.
Yes.
I think that. I mean, again, I grew up in the 80s where as long as you were fed, nobody cared. Not my parents aren't lovely, by the way, but it was a different upbringing back then. You're hanging off trees and you're fighting the boys for the next street, and then you're playing football 20 minutes later, and then as long as you're home when the lights come on, you didn't get doing off your dad. That's the kind of. I find it quite difficult with some kids that have got potential. Their parents are overly protective of the kids in those situations, and I think it's to their detriment. I think it's to their detriment. I've got goals of kids going to competition at the weekend for the first time, and somebody's going to get kicked in the face.
It kind of happens.
Somebody's going to get kicked in the face. Somebody's going to get a sore one. Like it's how many sore ones you take?
That's just because I'm rubbish.
But how many sore ones have you taken?
A few, yeah.
I can't even think. I would be here all day just telling me things I've been hit. So,
But again, it's that at the end of the day, we are doing karate, and if you want to go compete, someone is trying to punch and kick you. Yes, you're wearing as much safety padding you can, and it is a very controlled and safe environment with a rule set. So that again, that's why I think competition is as close as you can get to that scenario. You know, you're not playing netball, although sometimes it could be worse.
I get more injury. My guys
Yeah.
come in more injuries for playing football
Yeah.
and trampolining. Why are you taking your kids trampolining?
Yeah,
Why?
trampoline.
They have a
Hey.
row of ambulances at the back of a trampoline park.
Trampoline is
They
fun.
just-
Have you ever
It's
been in a
the-
trampoline? Have you ever been to like go?
Yes, I have.
It's
I've also
amazing.
like been there for like an hour and watched 3 people taken out with the legs pointing you in the wrong directions and their arms and stookies.
It's great fun. I love it. Like
But-
not people getting taken out with it. I love going to there's one of the ones that it just, I know a bit off topic, but it's great fun. You just bounce and dive into a foam pit. It's great fun.
I know, Liam, you were talking there about like the good old days, you know, when you were growing up.
That's getting back to topic,
in,
mate.
in the 50s and stuff like 50s.
Punch him, go punch him.
Oh! But yeah, I mean, in the old days, like you say, like even when I was at school, I'm using the bullying scenario. Things were a little bit different, but they were a little bit different to they are now. You know, the world is a lot more of a dangerous place now.
Yeah.
I don't agree.
Media,
I don't agree. I don't think it's more dangerous. I don't. I think it's
but
always
I
been as
disagree with
dangerous.
you as well. I think.
I
it is.
think the
Go disagree.
I
Disagree.
think no. I think it's bollocks. A Japanese word. I think that's bollocks. I don't think the world. I grew up in Glasgow with serious knife crime, like serious knife crime. If you didn't have a knife, they handed you one on the way into school. It was nuts. Even the good kids, the nice kids, had blades. Right, even the posh kids came in with a chip, as we call it in Scotland. It was rough. It was bad. I think it's much better and much safer now. The teachers are more tuned in. There's less tolerance for a lot of it. I mean, I think there's certain areas where it still is bad, but across the board, no. I mean, I've gone into schools to do active schools work, and I'm like, I'm a grown man, and I'm going, so I brought a bulletproof vest here.
I've done a few active schools with him as well, and I thought, nah.
Yeah, we're going to have to.
I'm going back to Glasgow.
back to back here.
Yeah, there was one. It was a proper funny story. It wasn't really aggressive, but it was a funny story.
Behavioural issues, the
Yeah.
boys that get self the fire alarm and stuff.
Yeah,
But there's a school in Glasgow. I did an active schools, and I had to go like through 6 doors, like I was going into Berlin jail.
seriously.
Aye, it was like click, 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 and it was why I saw that because the kids keep escaping. The hell are you doing? The kids are escaping. But no, I don't think so. I don't think that's the case. I think the media does like kind of push it. I think the big problems are social media, which exaggerates every scenario and every situation to get attention. So I think it perpetuates. It's not to say that things aren't dangerous, but they've always been. Again, I worked in nightclubs in Glasgow during the 90s. I've witnessed
80s.
shootings, stabbings.
I was born in the 90s.
Shut up. I've worked a fatal stabbing. I've watched again. I sat next to a bomb. Didn't know I was sitting next to a bomb. That was fun. And response team came in with bomb disposal, and I'm sitting next to what looked like a suitcase. Oh, Mark's away.
Disagree with me.
Mark's is it me a huff? Somebody's at his door.
Oh yeah, somebody's chat. I think he's getting a delivery too.
Is he get a delivery too?
Yeah, so we're on a.
We'll just kill time here, Marcus. All right.
No, as I said, I think it was an interesting topic. People are listening at home. Comment on the Facebook. If you're not part of the Facebook group, we've got a little That Karate Podcast Facebook group. We've got Instagram, and we have on YouTube.
Yes, yeah, and we're through Podbean. We're now on Google Play.
Okay.
All right. If you like to get your podcast through Google Play.
Nice.
Oh, Mark's back. Please, I'm so glad. Right, I'm so glad that the
Sat down
camera was off. Right, because you don't understand. Like Mark was standing up, right earlier on and going to the door, and it wasn't good for us people. See, those of you who are on YouTube.
I love how we went for a very serious topic to us numbly chatting. But no, I think it was a great topic. I think it brought about some good points. And I think
Did he storm off because I was disagreeing with him?
Yeah.
No, I was about to say, you ended this because I haven't finished yet. I was about to give my opinion.
Because I'm like,
leave.
you're not done yet.
Yeah.
Okay, Suzuki Hajime.
Shobu Hajime.
No, I think it is. I think it is a lot more.
That's because you live in Luton.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, you were talking about knives. We have guns, you know. So, but yeah, no, I think. I mean, the problem is
it's not a competition.
Yeah, it is. I think it's.
I remember that 4 doors up from me getting raided because of an IRA arms cache in it with explosives. So you want to play, big man?
No, let Mark say his point.
Carry on, Mark.
Not a competition. No, I mean, I think it's the repercussions and the consequences of things now. There isn't no, you know, I'm not having a go at our police, but you know, the police now can't. You know, if someone gets arrested and that, you know, it's a lot more difficult for them to prosecute. With the teachers, you know, they've got their arms behind their back as well with what they can do, you know, and that's what I'm saying. The world is a lot more dangerous now, especially with social media and stuff like that. You know, people recording things and stuff like that. It's you didn't have that back in the day, and I'm trying to sort of.
I agree, but here's a switch to that. There was nobody to record and get proof back then. So when you got smashed, there was no way to prosecute you. When you got, you know, there wasn't the security that there is now and the ability to follow that there is now. It's not.
But
that,
you know,
I guess that's a two-edged sword then, isn't it? So if you've got from Mark's point of view, they're saying that because of social media, it's shown every day more. And then from your point of view, because nobody had social media, nobody's seen that end. So I guess I guess we could touch on social media on a different topic as well.
Sean, if you was about to attack Liam, right, and you hit Liam, for example, right, and I get my phone out now and I start recording you, then I'm now putting that online. You're only capturing that bit that I recorded. You didn't catch the bit. You're not going to use your legs. I'm only capturing that bit there and putting it online or, you know, whatever. But
context, yeah.
You didn't catch the initial, you know, and both of you, but you're done. You know, we learn to fight and kick and punch and hit and you know, knock someone out with one punch and all this sort of stuff. But the actual reality is, if you did any of them things, right, you're going to get banged up.
Yeah. Yeah,
no, without a doubt. I mean, but as I say, it's always. I don't think it's any more dangerous now than it is.
Let me give an example, right? We've all competed in tournaments. We're all, you know, high grades. If we did any of them things, if we did any of them things, do you think that the legal system are going to go, oh well, you know, he is a karate teacher. You know, are they going to take it lightly on us? Are they going to make an example out of you? Of course they are.
It depends what you've done. If you protected yourself and defended yourself within the realms of the law, you're entitled to do that. If you've gone mental on a piss up and started smashing somebody's head about, you'd go to jail.
My little brother actually had a scenario like that you mentioned, Mark. So I was in high school when Stephen was in primary school, and our school didn't start back till like later on in that week. So me and my friends went to play football, and we went to collect Stephen from school. And they came up and he's like, Sean, somebody's trying to have a fight. I don't want to fight him because I just want to, let's just walk. And I was like, no worries. So we started walking. The boy came running at Stephen. Stephen ducked, and the boy turned round and Stephen hit him once, and the boy just dropped. And I'm like, oh my god, what happened? And my little brother was like, let's just go. And I was like, no. And then all these teachers came running over, and the instant panic, I think, no, he's going to get in big trouble. The boy's on the ground holding his jaw. The teacher came over like, don't worry, I've seen that. Like, Stephen's been trying to avoid that boy all day. Anyway, so we go home, we start have dinner, start getting ready, we're in our karate suits ready to leave, and we get a chap at the door. It's a police officer. We're like, what's happening? Like, can I speak to your dad, please? Of course. And Stephen's in the living room, and Stephen panicked straight away, thought he was in massive trouble. As you do, at the end of the day, he did hit the boy, but it was reaction. The boy came at him, so the police officer came in, and my dad was very proud of our achievement. He had trophies. Well, Stephen had trophies. I had bronze medals lying about. Both. And certificates up and pictures of us in Japan and stuff. And he's in fact, there wasn't pictures of us and kind of about trophies. This was pre-Japan, and he came in. He's like, so we've had the son's mum wants to press charges because the boy's jaw was broken.
Wow.
Yeah, but as I said, the boy was running, so as the boy came running, Stephen ducked, and then the boy turned around and kind of came in, and Stephen just hit him once and squared it. It was the nicest yakuzuki you've ever seen in your life. But it wasn't on purpose.
It wasn't purpose.
No,
didn't it?
it was. He didn't
It sounded
purposely.
like a beach.
No, he didn't purposely hurt the boy intentionally. Just as I said, Stephen came over. Anyway, my dad's like, "Listen, we've got accounts," and I was like to the police officer, "Did you speak to the teachers?" No, we've not spoke to anybody yet because the teachers witnessed it. There was parents witnessed it. Me and my friends witnessed it. And then my dad's like, "Here's Stephen's license book," as if that's the magic. It's going to make it all better. And I was like, "No." And then he's like, "In there is my instructor's details. Have a chat with my boys doing karate. As you can see, they've never had any trouble with before. So sometimes maybe you would like to think." And then the charges all got dropped, and then everything was okay. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying that's a magic cure license book, but if you've been training for 20, 24 years, 25 years, 52 years, then maybe you'd like to think that they have that because you're an instructor or you've never had any trouble with the law. Is that something that could help your kind of?
Yeah.
But as Liam said, if you've gone around just kicking people in the head,
You're just pissed in the pub
but
and you
if you're
molest somebody,
if it's a
then
self-defensive
you're a
act,
nut job.
but
And it has happened.
maybe that's something we can kind of touch on.
There was a taekwondo guy a couple of years ago, and it was a friend of mine. It was actually, I've actually played poker with him, and he was killed by a taekwondo guy. He was out drunk looking for troubles in Glasgow at the outside Transfer Station. It's a big case, just for no reason. Just
Did he fall over his bag or?
no, he's spinning. It's some sort of spinning roundhouse guy. Caught him with the shin. Down he went. Had hit the pavement. He was dead. That guy's in jail, and so he should be.
Oh,
So
see, that's again.
it's again, go back to your point. I don't think the world is any more or any less dangerous. I think it's always been dangerous. I think it always will be because people are people.
Listen, all I'm going to say on that note, Liam, is I accept your apology and I win. Okay.
Yeah, otherwise we'll be here all day. To be fair,
You're
I think
wrong.
we're on an hour.
I'm right and I win.
Okay, Mark.
Maybe instead of doing a kata, we can record a video of you guys sparring. We'll just recreate your third down. That was funny.
It
What was
was.
it, your
Yeah.
fourth
That was
down?
our fourth
That was
time.
your fourth down one. That was pleasure to watch. I was sitting there with popcorn. That was great fun.
Our third down was pretty spicy, but the fourth
Yeah,
down
that was your
nuts.
fault. We're going to say it again. That was your fault. I said, look, Liam, take it easy, Liam. Let's
You
show the
lying
judges.
bastard.
I'll do a little fake Mawashi. You do a yakuza.
I'll try and find a way to bleep that out. You lying bastards. Liam, listen, mate, let's not go too crazy. Let's take it easy. It's been a full weekend course. Let's not go nuts. Bear in mind, I'm a good foot shorter than Mark.
Were you taking it easy on a grading? Sure.
It wasn't the fact. The first technique, I was like, Jesus Christ, does he go the top of me? He did it on purpose to kind of lower my guard.
That was quite funny.
It was
That's-
funny,
it
yeah.
was good to watch.
Let's just say your old dojo had a reputation for that. Playing mind games. I know.
Anyway,
Just trying to be up an old man.
I think we'll kind of wrap it up there a little bit before these guys get tasty again.
He's my bro. I love him.
I'm joking. No, I'm joking. Again, guys, thank you very much for listening. Please try and get involved on social media. We've got Facebook, as I said, we've got the Facebook group. You can comment on YouTube, or if you want to stay anonymous. Anonymous.
If you want to stay, I'm on it.
No. If you want to stay
Who's listening to this? At this point?
anonymous, please drop us a message on Facebook or Instagram. We'll happily get in chat.
Get involved. We want you guys to get involved with.
Yeah.
We want to build a kind of community of like-minded lunatics.
Otherwise, it's just us three chatting, and we do that every
And
day.
we do that anyway. And frankly, we don't need to record it and get prosecuted.
But again, please feel free to chip in. Today we spoke about equipment. What equipment do you guys use or like using? Then what equipment has your instructor brought to class that you don't like using? Maybe you don't like using resistance bands. And kind of touched on the topic about karate and self-defense, and when does it become a self-defense as such? It was an interesting chat.
It was a bit different. We went a few
Yeah.
tangents there.
It got pretty dark, and then it got very light very quickly. But yes, anything you want to add, gents?
No, I think that's plenty. I think for everybody that's still listening to this, well done. I'm proud of you.
That was only an hour.
You
We've done
deserve it.
longer.
Yeah, but it felt longer there. That was rough for you. That was rough. No, guys, thanks very much as always. We'll be back next week with another one, and in the week after we should have an interview in place. Everything in play.
So we wanted to hear what you want to talk about. What do you want to bring up? What do you want to discuss? You want to get into styles? You want to discuss different styles? Which style's better? Oh,
I just want to listen to these two
which
argue.
style is better? Okay, is Shotokan better? Is Shitoiru better? Is Wadoru better? Is Goju better? Which style's better? Why is your style better? Let's put the cat amongst the pigeons there. Okay, or maybe you have
I'm busy that day.
one of those ones that have no style. It's just called karate. My favourite ones. My favourite ones, they just call it karate and it's not karate. Really drives me nuts. Right. So,
Mark, anything you want to add there? You all good?
No, I'm just waiting for
Have
Liam
you
to apologise.
just you keep holding your breath, sir. Right, guys, we'll see you all next week. Thanks for putting up with us once more for another week with us back with our third season. And guys, we'll catch up through the week.
See you later, guys.
See you later, guys.
Thank
Bye,
you very
bye.
much.
Ending
Right.
in. It's a rough shift today, wasn't it? Ending in 3, 2, 1, and stop.